Yeah, and then the other one, Shell's shocked in Europa Thriller. I don't know, was it a shock? Was it a team from a higher ranked league winning over the two legs?
The manner of the defeat was shocking.
The nature of it is.
Because Shell has had a chance to win it after the Meepo scores the very unconvincing penalty, where he doesn't really celebrate that much because it was so unconvincing. But Mbang, the former Cork City player, has a shot that goes straight at the goalkeeper, and a minute later the boys score the winner. Anti Orich, to be exact, the right back.
A good collection of goals. As a lover of
the first two goals,
good goals.
Oh my God! Tony Fruk, former Fiorentina star, of course. You put it like that, you know. He only played for Fiorentina as recently as 2 years ago, and you're playing against Shelbourne. Like, Shell did remarkably well to stay in the tie that long, if you look at it that way. And there's regret that they didn't win the game, but Fruk's instinctive technique blew the lids off the minds of Jonathan Higgins and Vinnie Perth on commentary.
Yeah, it was very good.
And then Tiago Dantes, the Portuguese player.
From downtown, as Timmy McCarthy would say.
You know, it's one of those goals where I was watching it and I had no distractions for the whole build-up. No phone. I was properly looking at this goal like it was 2003. And I was like, he's not going to shoot here, is he? And usually if a player scores from 35 yards out, you're blaming the goalkeeper. There's a portion of blame to it. No problem with it. It swiveled. It was always going away from him to the top corner. I preferred Fruk's goal though.
So that makes it a 3-2 lead for Rijeka at that stage, and we're ticking into, you know, not quite garbage time. It's the opposite of garbage time really, because everything is on the line. And then the penalty nearly gets saved, and our commentary team last night are losing their minds as the equaliser goes in. Tom Dolan's going to have to wait. Yeah. Because we thought we were going to be headed for extra time and penalties. And the lads were like, they take extra time now, would they? And then there's another chance. Like, well, they'd probably take, they bite your hand off, go through on penalties. But, yeah. Vinny was one of the breakout stars of last night.
Yeah, totally. There was mass excitement about whether it was going to be a penalty or not in commentary, whether the winning goal was going to be disallowed or not. There was a lot of ambiguity with the referees pointing, but thankfully we had the commentary of this game, you know, because otherwise it would have came and went as one of the biggest European games in Irish football in the 21st century. Not many people were able to see it if you weren't at Tolka Park. If you had an LOI TV subscription, to pay an extra tenner for the game. That was your way of watching it.
It's mad that it wasn't on terrestrial television. It's mad that RTÉ aren't showing the champions in European football. It just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem like the allocation of resources is fair towards domestic soccer. Does it?
No, I just have to imagine that there wasn't an awful lot of foresight ahead of the game, that they didn't really think about it. And maybe, look, people sleptwalking into the first leg, thought that they're the Croatian champions, they're probably going to beat them handily in the first leg, so there's no need to show the return leg. But even when the result happens, you still have a week to fix that schedule. And they could have changed it, but they didn't.
Well, Michael Portillo's great Australian train journeys was on RTÉ2 television last night, which, I mean, it was, the world needed to see that last night specifically. You couldn't have put that back a week. You know, the great opportunity for us to watch this programme, which might have been recorded at any point in the last 20 years. Who knows? I mean, I presume Australia is so far away that he got there to the end. Or maybe did he do... Yeah, but that, the furthest colonies, and it was like...
that was some Voyager's European game, you know? They were looking forward to this for a long time. It was like, I hope they televise it.
Which bit, sorry? Give me that again.
Portillo bit.
Oh, the Portillo, yeah.
You know, there's someone who's just as passionate about that.
They're sitting down, they've got their popcorn.
It's huge for them.
They've turned their phone notifications off just to make sure that they can pay full
that
attention
live score to tell them where Portillo goes.
Yeah,
So there's always going to be an audience for something. I mean, that would be the RT justification here, that there was planned programming and they're popular TV segments, so they're not going to move them.
And then you have those incredible goals, and you have that incredible drama at the end. You've got the atmosphere as raucous as it can be in an Irish venue, given the underinvestment by the government in facilities over the last 100 years, and it's lost to the mists of time.
Have they justified why they haven't done it, or even?
They'll tell you. They list off all the great stuff that they do, and all the hours and hours and hours, and we're showing more than we've ever shown. It's like, all right, okay, fair enough. Great work. Congratulations, lads.
I am interested, like, because it is interesting. Because, like, not to be play somewhat devil's advocate, like the majority of people that RT are catering to don't care, like, about that game last night. Like, whatever way we think about it, obviously it's the biggest thing for us here this morning. But, like, even if it's on, a couple 100,000 at most watch it.
Yeah, I'd say if you were to follow that logic, they would never do any art coverage. They wouldn't do a lot of politics coverage. They wouldn't, because the majority of people not caring about stuff. Like,
yeah, but like again, I do appreciate that, but there's a public service element to it as well.
There's a public service element. I would argue there's a public service element that if that was a rugby game last night, it would have been shown, right? If they had the rights to, if they had the ability to get a rugby game last night of any hue at any age group, it would have been shown.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested in the rationale behind it rather than, obviously it should have been somewhere, no doubt about it. But like, I don't know. There's probably
make it on RT News, like,
even maybe,
you know?
yeah.
Put it anywhere. Just put it anywhere. Like, you'd be surprised how many people will watch it then. Like, word gets around that a game is good. That game got very exciting towards the end. People are investing in it, and then okay, so what's the point in that? Well, it's public service broadcasting, you know, and then it's of interest to the country, even to a portion of the country, and people get behind their good game, and they'll understand the significance of it then towards the end of the match. Just put it on, like. But it's just a weird, it's more so the attitude of the country towards football and how mixed it is. It's like that we talk about it all the time. We're fairly football obsessive. Then when it comes to the structure of it and planning and actually being professional towards the game itself, severely lacking. Like, was anyone surprised that it wasn't shown on TV?
I think it had been flagged from such a long way out. It's like, well, we'll do the first round, but nothing else.
But that's the other thing that they showed.
Works,
so they showed the first game of Shels' European sojourn. They showed it. They had full coverage of it on RT. So this is great. Okay, they're going to pick their team here and they're going to show them all the way. And since that first game, they've gone absent. So it's left now to us to discuss this like we're doing the show in the 1950s and we're talking about the game in the wireless. We're using our imagination for the goals.
Yeah.
And you didn't need, imagination is great and all, but if you see the real thing, sometimes it's better than the creativity of your mind. Well, they were the first two goals last night.
How do you build the sport? How do you keep the momentum going? And they need coverage, right? And RT will say it's not our job to build the sport, but they're happy to be involved in building other sports up. And you get the audience by putting the stuff on and making people familiar with the players, and then they tune in again. It's like a lot. Anyway, look, our listenership has gone up 20% in the last year. One of the things that you'd have to attribute that to is the fact that we're doing live games all the time from the League of Ireland. There's a big interest in that. It's one of the things. Obviously, people love Owen. That's the other thing. There is an interest in these sports. There is an interest in stuff if you're at it and it's live and you bring your production values to it and you say, this is incredible, we're really interested in it. Like, go back and listen to Vinny last night. It was sensational. Those last 10 minutes were like... So, I don't know. It is just mad that it wasn't on TV last night. And they'll talk about budgets and... I mean, they're getting 725 million from the taxpayer over the next few years. Totally skewing the marketplace, and I think we've got.
I'd love to know though, but I'd love to know. Like, I do think it's vindictive, like, or just careless. No, but I'm not trying to catch out. I'm just saying in general, like, there has to be a reason for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just kind of carelessness. I'm sure, like, maybe it is, but like...
Yeah, you see, in the absence of justification or explanation, you are left to speculate, right? And I can only think... My instinctive reaction to all of this is that they basically didn't think about it. They just were like, I order some Irish team, because there's a few Irish teams playing in Europe this week. It's not just
they're not fools, like, they're not,
I'm not saying they're fools, but they have other things to do, like, they're not just serving sport. So they're thinking, we have, like, cheap Irish homes. That's really good. That's really practical in this housing crisis. People like that. Throw that on, that's important. And then I'll just go a few European games. Like, can you differentiate them for me? Tell me what's important and what isn't important. Well, and it's all great, because Shells and Pats and Rovers are all playing in Europe. It's all really good. Is there any standout fixture? Who are they playing? Rijeka? I don't really know them. I'll just leave it as grand. That would be my speculation of what happened. Didn't really think about it. They did, and then it was like 2 days out. And they were like, we should have shown this. And I don't know how long does it take to change the TV schedule around. That you could flip something. and just flaking in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere else.
Well, if if there's you can do it for news pretty quickly. If something of national import happens, you can flick on and go, regular programming will resume at some point.
Yeah, remember that used to happen, the 80s and 90s. We interrupt this regular programming.
Why do you think it's not been shown then? Like just out of carelessness or disinterest, or because I should state for the fact, like I find it mad that this wouldn't be on it, because it's effectively of national interest in football terms. It's an Irish team playing on an international stage. So
you're asking us to speculate about another organisation's motivations, which is like impossible for us really to do. I don't think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense on a level where you would say these are the champions of Ireland in a knockout tie in European football. We're going to see loads of European football on our screens from the same broadcaster, and have done traditionally over the last 30 years. They've had rights to the Champions League on and off. I think maybe uninterrupted over that period of time. I'm actually not entirely familiar with what rights they have this year for the Champions League.
It's becoming less and less.
It used to be
a lot.
Nights.
It used
now
to be
it's only one night.
Yeah.
Is it still one night this year? I can't even remember. I don't really watch their coverage.
It was last year anyway.
I think that it's mad that we will show Real Madrid versus I don't know, Fenerbahce or PSV Eindhoven or Rando European club, but we won't show Shells in action at home.
To be fair, though, we don't see that game.
Well,
you don't see Real Madrid, PSV Eindhoven. You'll see one of the English teams, if at all possible. Like we do know why they do that. That's not like.
But there's been loads of times when there's been no English team. There's been loads of times. Like
I'd say it's the minority. Like
okay,
it's,
and
if
like
they
it
have
does happen.
But if they have a responsibility to show a game, they have to pick something. They can't just again swap it out because nothing suits us tonight.
You're okay. You're getting stuck in the weeds. The point is, right, these teams which have less relevance to us culturally are shown regularly over the last 20 years, and the Irish champions are in action in European football in a knockout tie, and it doesn't appear as if any effort was made to show it. We don't know because they haven't said. They didn't come out and say we couldn't get the rights because they were too expensive.
Of course,
we couldn't do a deal for it, even though,
And that probably will be the reasoning. And maybe it's justified. Maybe that is legitimate and we're just annoyed by it and we can't see the objectivity of their decision making. But it's just hard to find the rationale to it when you're thinking about it the day after, that's all. Like, it's not even about the growth of the game. Like, for me, it's as simple as just show something that's entertaining, and this is potentially entertaining, because they had a heads up. They had a weak heads up that Shells were winning this tie. They were leading this game against the Croatian champions who weren't going to be bringing fans over. Like, this was going to be a tight game one way or the other, at least for the first 15 minutes. And then they're understanding that people stream a lot these days to do something else, so they'll probably get distracted anyway. But just show, like, it's just a weird decision not to show it, and it's a shame because I think that would have, for a very brief moment, not brought the country together in master style or anything like that. But the end of that game was very exciting, and people definitely would have tuned in. The WhatsApp groups would have been alive and well if you were even a casual football fan last
exactly,
night.
Yeah.
Try on RT2 there. There's a serious game happening. What is it, Shells? They could get into the Europa League Conference group stage if they win this. Meepo equalised with a penalty, and then Beg nearly won the game, and we were in injury time. That's how close it was.
Yeah. You would say a big missed opportunity for.
But I'm not surprised, and that's what's the most hurtful aspect of it.
Why are you not surprised?
I'm not surprised they didn't show it. I just don't think there's any respect for a lot of sport, actually, when it comes to the national broadcaster. I just don't think there's a huge amount. I think their GA coverage is obviously superb when they do it, and some of their stuff is excellent when they do it. So I'm not having to go overall. When they do it, it's good, but I think their willingness to not show stuff is very prevalent, and it annoys me, really, to be honest, because I don't think there was too much explanation required on the side of showing the game last night. And that's
everybody would have.
That's what annoys me about it.
That makes sense. Yeah, you should be showing that. Let's hear from Joey O'Brien, very disappointed in the aftermath of losing in the way they did, talking with Jonathan Higgins.
Joey, football is a habit, I suppose, of putting us through emotional roller coasters, but I felt like even in the last couple of moments it was on a different scale. How on earth are your emotions right now?
Listen, disappointed obviously to how the game went, I suppose, as you said, getting back into the game and then conceding really late on. It's hurting, obviously the dressing room's hurting, but here, as I said to the boys, make sure we use that hurt as a fuel now attacking the next game against Linfield or Vikingur.
It was always going to be a difficult challenge, and I suppose we saw the quality with their goals as well, but you hung in for large periods.
Yeah, listen, I thought the first half they were obviously going to start fast, and obviously they were going to have possession. They have some serious good players, like, you know. So, but again, sort of first half overall, like, I suppose, from regarding possession, they had a few post shots, I suppose, you know. So I was fairly happy. I thought we were a threat in the break. I thought we had a couple of chances ourselves in the first half. Obviously, they scored a brilliant goal, so you had to just suck it up at times, you know. And that's what I've always been saying to our boys about managing Europe. As you say, it has 4 halves of football, and at times you had to just bite down the gum shield and get through. And I thought we'd done that in the first half. Came in, second half changed it a little bit, and I thought we were the better team second half, to be honest. Again, I thought we were a threat, had a couple of really good chances, got back into it, obviously with the penalty, and we have a chance, like, you know, after the penalty, we have a chance to go and win it, and we don't take it, and it goes up the other end and they take theirs.
You talk about the build-up, about attacking this, and you did from the offer. Like, it was a penalty appeal early doors with Ali. Another day might possibly have given as well.
Yeah, listen, I think it was a chance, so I had to see it back, actually, what happened, whether Ali could have played the ball or not. I'm not too sure what happened, but as I said, listen, they're a really good side, so they were always going to have a lot of possession. They have some serious players. I think people would have seen that there tonight, you know. And but I said, I thought our shape was okay. But second half we changed it a little bit, and I thought we were much better second half.
Is the frustration, I know that there's quality involved in the finishes, but the fact that they're able to shoot from distance unopposed is...
Here, listen, I think it's one of them. Like, I mean, the first goal is obviously a real quality. It pops up to him, and yeah, his quality and his calmness to put it into the bottom corner, or whatever it was real class moment. And here, I suppose the second one, I think he's 35, 40 yards out. You're probably telling him to shoot, really, you know. And yeah, but again, a man with the quality, and that's what you're dealing at this level.
What was going through your head during the VAR review? It's surreal for me personally to see it on League of Ireland grounds, and it seemed to take an age as well.
Yeah, here there's been a couple, I suppose, in the games that we played, you know, and they haven't fallen our way, so it was nice to get one tonight.
And then the penalty, I suppose you've stuck to the build on now, but you do have another, I suppose, strand, another thing to latch on to. The European campaign is still alive.
Yeah, no, without doubt. I said that to the lads, obviously they're hurting in there, like, in the emotion of the game, and seeing them celebrate. We want that, you know, and that's our fuel now over the next couple of weeks. That's what we want. We want to make sure we're celebrating in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because they still have the opportunity to qualify, of course, for the group stages of the Conference League. They're going to be playing either Linfield or Vikingur from the Faroes. Vikingur 2-1 up. That second leg is on Thursday night in Windsor Park. Do they want to play Linfield again? Do you want to beat a team twice in one? Or are you like, yeah, absolutely, we'll play them again, because we've already beaten them? I don't know.
They're probably getting better, though.
Well, they will be getting better, yeah. So we're come on the Faroes.
Yeah.
I don't know, if they're getting better and Vikingur are leading the tide, then you'd still want Linfield. But I'd say that game won't be shown.
Who knows?
They did it already.
Maybe.
That's the game they showed.
Which?
Shell's Linfield was the game they showed, wasn't it? Was it the first leg?
Previous round? I actually can't remember.
I think it was.
The other news, obviously, Ferencváros of Robbie Keane fame, they're almost through to the group stages of the Champions League. They beat Ludogorets 3-0 last night in Budapest. So they're now in the playoff round where they'll face Qarabag. Last Irish manager to manage in the... Well, obviously Brendan Rodgers does it every year. But anybody else?
In the Champions League?
Group stages?
Neil Lennon by same extension.
Okay. Anybody?
Do you have a list?
I don't know. Like, we're not going all the way back to what, David O'Leary, are we?
No.
Oh,
No, there must be someone.
Was there? Martin O'Neill? Did he?
No.
Martin O'Neill never did it.
No.
They're a Europa League. Under all.
Oh, is it? Come on. Give us. There must be an answer here in our comments.
You could be right with David O'Leary.
Am I?
In the Champions League proper group stage.
Well, yeah, it'll be thing. It'll be like, well, apart from Rodgers, if we're skipping him out, like.
Rodgers.
We're not skipping him out.
Well, that's
we're just saying apart from, like, other than Celtic.
How far can you keep? Okay, apart from Rodgers, Lennon, and O'Leary, who's the last?
Well, no, O'Leary.
Lennon was Champions League.
Lennon
stage,
was, yeah, 100%.
with Celtic.
Some big wins.
Some big wins. Did he preside over the Barcelona win?
Think so,
2012.
Yeah. Tony Watt.
So anyway, very disappointing, but good night, and we'll talk to Stuart Byrne about it. But those two first goals, you'll struggle, Ger, to find the two better goals this season.
No, they were absolutely outrageous.
So people are informing us here that the Super Cup will be shown on RT tonight, Paris Saint-Germain against Tottenham Hotspur. But I equally have no problem with that at all, and it's also part of their package. That's that's totally fine. It's not an either-or thing I'm talking about.
They show it every year.
So they're saying so their argument would be, well, we can't show football twice in a row. 2 nights in a row.
I mean, yeah. They used to have Tuesday and Wednesday night in the Champions League. And they would have been spending a lot of money on those.
Because they only have one night now these days, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of the increasing speculation of their justification. But tonight will be interesting. East Basuma is banned internally, not travelling, and Donnarumma has been told that he's not part of the plans. Very coldly by the sounds of Luis Enrique.
The Donnarumma thing is interesting, right? Where is he going to end up?
There's rumours going to Manchester City. What's the problem with Ederson?
He got a bit flaky over the last couple of seasons.
But if you're going to Donnarumma, right, then I tell you who won't be happy with that decision. Joe Hart. That's the first thing that Pep Guardiola told him to do when he took over. You can't play balls. You got to leave. You're going straight back to the Joe Hart type of goalkeeper. Good with the hands, not so much with the feet.
Yeah, but I mean, he can play a bit of ball. He was pretty good.
So could Joe.
Yeah, but he's won a Champions League and.
That's part of a collective.
Donnarumma's
part of a collective.
Donnarumma's pissed off. He was very important. He made a lot of great saves over the course.
He's a good goalkeeper, as in goalkeeper. I thought Pep wasn't that interested in goalkeepers.
I'm right. Donnarumma has this explosive, very early period, and then gets big move, and then kind of collapses a bit.
Yeah, he was a kid in the Milan team, and he
started at 16.
When
he's
they
only
were
20,
bad.
He's only 26.
It's mental how young he is.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant, like.
So a good signing for
Be a prop.
A good signing for Chelsea and Man United. Apparently, are not interested. Man United made inquiries. Onana is still there, and they're happy with Onana. And you're like, I would swap them out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't think they'll really get rid of Onana is the problem. But
yeah, you'd think that, right? But like Chelsea managed to get rid of all of the goalkeepers that they've signed, particularly Kepa, after him being a bit of a disaster. Now, they might still be paying some portion of his salary.
They sold for like £5 million.
Yeah, he's gone.
You can probably get rid of him for that price.
Yeah, well, but if you got it, you got to do it. Like, what happens if everything goes very well at Man United, except Onana throws 2 or 3 in over the first 3 or 4 weeks?
Onana's not as bad as people think he is.
He's not that bad. He's not that. There was a portion last season where
I thought he was brilliant for. If you give me into Milan, Onana, I'm taking him.
But half a dozen games where he's good. Here's a question for you, right? If you're at a club like Man United, would you always have a buyer?
No.
It turns out no.
Not for representative value. That's why they can't get rid of the lads that are there.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Not for the value that you pay for them. For representative value,
someone will take you. Like
no, but they won't. Like it's not. You're not like. There's no way that you're.
Sancho is not worth any more than that people are willing to pay for him.
But there'd be loads
my
of
point is
clubs
that
want them.
you'd get more for him if he was at like a different club than if he was at Man United because the wages that he's on, everything inflates up. Like it's very rare any big club sells on player for a profit. It doesn't happen that often. Like
representative value, I suppose, is I'm taking a mild issue with that.
No, I'm saying, is there ever a time where no club at all would take a player from a big club?
It doesn't.
The only time I ever thought that was Phil Jones, but then he retired.
Like nobody will buy Marcus Rashford.
Huh?
Nobody will buy Marcus Rashford. Like,
but they will take him.
They'll take him on loan, but they won't invest the money in him to buy him.
Because they know that that's because Man United have burned him out. That was I would argue if they had babied him along and pretended that he was injured, they would have got some money for him as a transfer fee. But when you tell everybody we don't like the cut of your jib and you leak against him, it's very difficult for anybody to say, well, we're going to pay you money because we know you're going to get him. We know you're going to give it to us on loan. Like the whole Anthony thing is like, oh, you want us to pay 30 million?
Well, Anthony proved he can still play ball, like with Real Betis. So, and Rashford has looked all right in pre-season for Barcelona. There are buyers for these.
Did you see the miss the other night?
I saw his assist.
I'm very surprised Arthur didn't send me the miss.
Where his pace is...
Not surprised.
His pace is frightening. I was like, I've forgotten how quick this guy is, Rashford, when he's like confident and wants to play ball. Yeah, all these lads are unbelievable players, but they've been shocking for so long for one club.
I think Rasmus Højlund's going to make it, by the way. I don't think he's going to be a bust as time goes on.
People think he's like pound for pound the most useless striker that plays football, right?
You want to know something? I'll stop you there for a second. Do you know how tall he is?
You're going to tell me? I'll tell you. 6'3".
6'3".
Is he?
He is the shortest 6'3" I've ever seen.
No, that's because you know why people are saying that about? Because he's no confidence. So people automatically take a few inches off the person with no confidence, right?
6'3".
Rasmus Højlund scored a hat-trick against Galatasaray in the Champions League for United when he wasn't long at the club, and people were very excited about him the next morning. One of those hat-trick goals, he ran half the pitch. He's not like a useless player. Like that's the problem with football fandom, especially these days, is that you're either good or you're bad, and there's very little nuance.
I would be delighted if Rasmus Højlund fetched up on the last day of the transfer window at Villa
Park.
Absolutely, I would be, and I think that he'd be a perfect manager and a perfect situation if you could keep Ollie Watkins and have him as your sub striker, and he comes off the bench and terrorises people for 15-20 minutes.
He doesn't like someone up him Well,
No, but this will be perfect because he's going to look at him and go, well, you're not a threat. Whereas John Durant comes on and is like,
you'd be
well,
paying the
he's
guts of
pinging them
50
in.
million for him. You're not going to leave him stranded on the bench.
Well, I don't think you are going to pay the guts 50 million is my point. Well,
You
there
will.
seems to be enough interest from Italy where they're like, hey, you guys have been screwing with good footballers for generations. We'll take them back. And there does seem to be some sense, maybe it's all agent talk, maybe it's all Man United friendly media people going, yeah, 7 clubs in Italy really want to pay 50 million quid for this guy. We shall see.
So there's not a bad player at that club, but they're playing badly for a long time.
A lot of players seem to escape and do quite well. You even look at like which team recently had like 7 Man United cast-offs in it that made the Europa League or Conference League.
Inter in the final.
Champions, yeah, that was like, all right. So that's because they're still playing.
Matteo Darmian, a mainstay in the defence of
Mkhitaryan
Inter,
playing.
whose defence was unbelievable. in the
Sander
Champions
Herrera
League.
did really well after he left. Andrew Herrera wasn't a bad player for Man United. Just
Yeah,
He was good. He's been forgotten about actually a lot.
I'd be stressing as well about really well.
had decent careers.
But like, there's a thing when you step out from under that spotlight of being watched by everyone every single week to oh look, he scored in his 3rd game.
You're getting the best bits of him. You're not getting his. You're not getting a report of a 6.5 out of 10 performance. But it is the problem of playing a collective that if you play well in a struggling team, it's not really going to be considered. Especially if you're a midfielder who's not scoring goals or assisting.
No.
So how can you actually calculate how good someone is?
Russell Martin was very angry last night, even though Rangers won. They went through against Victoria Pilsen, lost 2-1 in the second leg, but obviously were well up from the first 1-4-2 on aggregate. They play Club Brugge for place in the league phase of the competition, which I think Scottish football probably needs Rangers. If there's not going to be, we've been talking for years about how the gap between Rangers and Celtic just keeps compounding because all the money that Celtic are getting. Now they have dropped points in both their opening games of the SPL season. Is the league over? Celtic have a 4-point lead at the top of the table over Rangers.
In the Scottish Premiership already.
Yeah. I know everybody.
Great job for Russell Martin.
Not paying any attention to that.
To go from Southampton relegated, walking away. Spurs was the last game he presided over when they were 5-0 down at half time to get this Rangers gig.
Yeah.
Sweet bit of business.
Yeah. It's a great.
I don't think it's the greatest gig in the world.
Well, he's not making the greatest gig in the world, but it is, like you have a 50 chance of doing
Champions
well.
League, you can definitely parlay that into a good European run of jobs if you want.
It's a launching pad, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
To what?
A stepping stone. There was one other bit of news there that I just wanted, which I've just talk amongst yourself for a second. Why is the game in Udine tonight? What?
I think they just like bringing around the place.
It's just all right. No, sorry. Newcastle have done a bit of business. Malik Thiaw from AC Milan has signed.
Yeah.
So he's the centre back, right?
Yeah.
That means they're out of the Mark Guéhi sweepstakes. You would expect.
Mark Guéhi to Liverpool looks strong now. So Liverpool had a chance to sign him for I think £45 million to start the summer. Turned that down. Could get him for £35 million now. Must have long left in his contract, Mark Guéhi. But that's really where they were struggling. Liverpool is centre half depth beyond the two boys, Kanati and Van Dijk. Jeez, Liverpool are like serious squad. Dan Bardell yesterday was telling us that Arsenal for him is the strongest squad. It's very, in my opinion, tough to argue against Liverpool. Imagine they get Isak and they get Guéhi.
Yeah, they can't all play.
Sensational. Yeah, but that doesn't matter about they're all playing. Like the idea of a starting 11 or strongest 11 is kind of gone now. They're playing every 3 days. Just rotate among 15 or 16 lads.
I don't know if it's completely gone though. You don't drop Salah, for instance.
But sure, the 15 or 16 lads, so you're going to have 5 or 6 players who are probably always going to play. But you don't need an out-and-out 11.
No, it is interesting though. It is.
I wonder how much Salah will play. Actually, he's 33.
I'd say when he's not playing, he won't stay. He won't hang around.
Salah.
Yeah, he doesn't exactly take it too graciously.
You would say they've done good business, Liverpool, in that they're going to get some money for Salah when he leaves because they've signed him to a multi-year deal, right? So they can have a season where they're like, oh, we're just making sure that you're fit for the AFCON, play as well as you can, and then next summer he leaves.
I can't envision Salah having the season like he just had. It'll still be very good though. Wonder how much money. It'll be more of getting a salary off the books than getting a transfer fee, I'd say, whenever he does leave. Like, I don't think they're going to get 100 million for Salah.
No, not anymore.
But they'll take his salary. So anyway, you were telling us beforehand that you think Spurs' squad is good. Bobby Dwyer's ears have pricked up.
Oh yeah,
you do?
I do think Spurs squad are good. If you just give me 10 seconds warning about that, I would have gone through it here.
So they have Paulinho, they got from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, so if you actually go through their team, right,
Kudus.
they've a pair of left backs and a pair of right backs. They've a good centre back partnership, and they've also bought another centre back to make sure that if the injury problems that particularly Van de Ven had last season, if they recur, there is a replacement. In midfield, I mean, I think they're getting rid of Basuma from what it sounds like, right? That it's like
discipline issues, yes.
And you're leaving somebody out of a big game like this, you're sending a message. You believe that he is potentially expendable. He's in the final year of his contract. And then they did actually make some early signings, and they're still being linked with some good players, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the most compelling case. Like James Maddison is injured.
Kulusevski, reading in the last 24 hours, they think he broke his patella, which could be 8 to 10 months. And there are problems with that. So Kudus signed. Matthijs Tel completed his deal from... they also signed Kevin Danza, who's the centre back. And there was somebody else. So they got João Paulinho on loan. And then they've got all those loan players that they had out coming back that the new manager might be able to get a tune out of, who may or may not be any good, right? We don't, I don't know if they have any interest in reintegrating Højbjerg and Heel and those guys into the team. But I just think their manager's good, and I think that there's an opportunity here for a squad with a bit of a bounce.
They do have to contend with Champions League as well, though.
Yeah, Villa managed it relatively well with a similar sized, similarly talented squad.
A far more experienced manager, though.
It's certainly far more experienced in European football terms. But
any terms.
So Solanke is fit. I do think if they Kulusevski...
Kulusevski and Maddison, okay, injured. Bob D claims Eze and Savinho will join.
Well, if they both join...
Then that's not quite two upgrades, not like for like. But it's two players essentially in the Kulusevski position. You can play Eze centrally. Probably play him in the Maddison roles, but Paulinho will be overworked. Because then you'll have Bentancur next to him.
Sorry, they still
and
have...
Pape Sarr.
Yeah. Bergvall was great last season. He's only 19.
He's very good, yeah. Archie Gray's a good player. They've got a lot of good players. I just wouldn't be...
a decent squad.
I just felt like they needed a Liverpool-type summer where a lot went in and a lot went out. But they'll almost certainly have a better Premier League season than last year. So that will help. Almost certainly, you'd imagine.
Bear in mind, they were
look where they finished, like.
Riddled with injuries for about 5 months.
Yeah, and we said that at the time, but then people weren't having that. And as in people generally weren't having the idea that they were going to riddle. So they probably will be again, with Champions League football added to it. Could be tougher again. I think they still need a good few more players, like 3 or 4.
What do you think it's a good enough squad for?
Like to be in the mix for 5th.
All right.
Champions League football.
I wouldn't have thought so at all. But maybe. Who knows? It's rare enough you see those, like when they are in Europe as well.
Why did Frank get the job?
Why?
Yeah.
So you had to make a call. I mean, it's like a safe enough decision.
Is it going to be a significant upgrade on Ange?
It's hard to know. Like it was a similar thing for both of them, wasn't it? Like a far bigger step than they'd taken before.
He doesn't have extensive experience, funnily enough.
No.
It's like it'd be one of those things where Brentford really suited him, but like Brentford were a solid Premier League side eventually under his guidance. They were an established side. So maybe you're looking for a slightly more solid manager.
It's a funny thing, like, but the way that people say the same thing about the players who've left, like in Mbeumo and everywhere else, and it's like they were great within that system and the whole club. Obviously, Frank benefited from that as well, insofar as he was obviously essential to curating a lot of it. But like he's also, so it's a bit of a 50-50. Who knows? Like, but it'll be obviously a season like he's never experienced before.
No, and
you're way more about pressure.
Yeah, like every single utterance at every single press conference will have 5 times as many journalists as there were previously, and the fan base, they have high demands. It is I think it's weird that they haven't signed more players, given that the Champions League is imminent.
That's what I'd worry about them. Yeah, they've marginally improved from last season. squad-wise, I would say, marginally. But that's not enough.
The Savinho thing
Compared
is
to what they'll be doing.
it's really interesting, right? Like, what if you don't get him and you've now made that public that you're after him? That's a real. We're teasing the fan base by trying to get stuff that we can't get.
It's interesting City are willing to let him go, having just let Grealish go. So I really won't believe that I see him holding the Spurs jersey. And Eze, I would have thought, sorry to say, Bobby, that Eze would prefer Arsenal.
Yep. Maybe he feels he'll play more in Spurs.
Well, it's 2 European promotions now that Palace are back into the Conference League. So that's a motivation for Eze to join. I don't know. I think they're on the cusp of being very good, Spurs, but I just don't think that squad at the moment, sitting here today, is good enough for the Champions League and Premier League.
Over the last couple of years, there's been a team who made that burst from the established top 4 and got into the Champions League. Newcastle, Villa. Can anybody do it this year, or are we back to Chelsea being good again as a result of the investment of $2 billion in players? Arsenal, Liverpool, and
City.
Is that it? Is it just?
You would think so.
Nothing going to stop that.
It's been a hell of an outlay. Like, you'd think so. But sometimes, Brighton will show up and they'll surprise you with players that they've signed that you probably haven't heard of too much. And like, Jesus, actually they're tidy enough, and they go on a win of like a run of 4 wins in 6 games. Brentford, we don't know how it's going to go under Keith Andrews. Bournemouth, can they do it again under Iriola?
A lot of players as well.
Yeah,
so like, did we miss the fact that Bournemouth had the world's greatest defence?
And it's been torn up.
It's gone now.
Torn.
For like a lot of money.
And it's not done yet.
Were they that amazing last year as defenders?
PSG are back in.
Yeah. I think it'll be one of those seasons, even though last year wasn't too novel in how it ended up. It's almost like was it 13-14? That league that City won under Pellegrini. Going for Liverpool nearly, then everything was a little bit upside down.
Yeah.
And then the following season it kind of reverts back, and Jose wins the thing with Chelsea, and it's just like...
Just by the summer business alone, the big boys are back.
Yeah, in a big way.
Everyone's been busy. Like, this is the busiest window I can think of in a long time.
I realise this is like a 1 + 1 = 2 analysis of football here, but Bournemouth, Everton had a better defence than Bournemouth in terms of goals conceded last season.
Yeah, but why do you feel that Bournemouth are better than Everton?
Well, they finished.
Why does that memory of?
They finished above in the table. I don't know. Obviously, because they had a bunch of.
It's because Everton weren't scoring goals the other end, really. So Moyes came in and they shored it up a bit.
Everton had
but Bournemouth were doing a bit of.
They had a negative goal difference.
Yeah, Bournemouth doing a bit of fun stuff in the final third as well.
But those 3 defenders that they've sold for 140 million or whatever it was, which is huge money. Why did they all get hot all of a sudden? Why was it the hottest thing in the world for PSG, Real Madrid and Liverpool to sign these 3 defenders?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about it. It's like, why are all those players failing United? Why did these 3 lads work at Bournemouth? Was it Oriola or were these 3 lads
not working?
Well, no, there's like, remember the central midfielders were all worth 100 million for one window, and now you can get them for 25, 30.
It's just, I think that things.
The number 9s are all 120 million. And that's it. There's no debate. If you're a 9 or a 10, it's 140 million for like a good one.
Because defenders get the ball loads now as well. Defenders are so prominent in games.
But
it's just streaky. It's streaky. Things happen. Like all of a sudden, like there's no centre midfielders left in the world.
Remember, Braithwaite was going to be leaving two transfer windows ago from Everton, and we were like, maybe that's good for Jacob Bryan. Now Jacob Bryan is established. He's a right back, and he's going to play right back for them. But like, I expect Everton's defence to be brilliant this year. It's ludicrous to say that there's room for Everton to be one of those teams who loads.
Definitely not. They don't have nearly enough.
Tipperary.
They don't have nearly enough about them.
Well, I think the new stadium, I think Moyes, I think that defence is not going to concede goals.
Oh, sorry, there'll be a great 8th to 12th. No problem. No fear of them going down. He'll sort it out if they keep him. He'll keep them safe. No shadow of a doubt. But like breaking into top 6, 5.
My heart is saying they might finish 6th.
I'll take that.
I'm going to have about 10 teams predicted to finish 6th by the end of the show.
And Palace always look class, and they always end up finishing 11th.
Well, they go through those streaks. They started the season really badly last year. They started the season.
They always look good at the start. Like, look at them now. Like, lovely new jersey as well. Hell of a team.
All right, we got to go.
And they finished 11th.
Fair play to them for buying the best player in the championship for what everybody thinks is ludicrous money and then turning them into
Adam
superstars. Wharton, Eze, Michael Olise. Apparently they signed Guehi and somebody else off the back of what they had done on loan. That was there was a reference to Guehi not enjoying how he was treated at Chelsea. So he went on loan to Swansea, apparently did really well, and that's where Palace were like, oh, we'll have you. So I don't know. There's different ways to do business. Right, a reminder, Off the Ball Breakfast is with UPMC Orthopaedic Care. When things don't move, rotate or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in action.